Today, I'll be showing you guys how to do an upgrade for a non-Apple OEM SSD on any 2013, 2014, or 2015 MacBook. With 2015, you can plug away the aftermarket SSD straight away and it'll work no problems. However, with the 2013 and the 2014 models, what Apple's done is they don't include the NVMe driver inside the EFI chip. What that means is if that isn't included, the computer will have sleep and hibernation issues. The way to fix it is what you want to do is mod the BIOS and put it in there. As you see right now, this has a 128 GB genuine Apple SSD right here. If you look, it's a genuine Samsung Apple made SSD right there, and we'll be doing an upgrade on it. What you want to do is once you remove the old SSD, you want to get the aftermarket one. Here we're using an Intel 660p with a Syntec adapter, and you want to just plug it in. Make sure the computer is completely turned off. You want to remove the battery too, but I just did it out of laziness. And once that's in, what we want to do is flip it over. Make sure you have the bottom cover on there as well. I just don't have it for laziness. And hold option. And there you go. As you see, it's reading it as an external drive, which as you've seen, it's internal, and that's because of the driver's not there in the EFI for it being as an NVMe. Even after we mod it, it will show that as the symbol, but in macOS it'll read as internal, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So once it's loaded, you want to click about this Mac. So you want to just click about this Mac, and here we're in it. Storage, and you'll see 512 GB solid state PCI Express drive. So what you want to do is turn off the computer, as so. Make sure shut down completely, and we're going to read the BIOS next, and I'll show you how to do that. What Apple's done is, we can, on the A1502 models and the MacBook Airs, we use this JTAG connector right here. But on the A1398s, this is a 15-inch model right here, you need to use this type of clip right here. And we're gonna do that just now. So here we have the computer completely off. You wanna flip it over as so. And right there is SSD. You want to remove that. There you guys, you see that's a normal M.2 SSD, but we are using a Syntec adapter with it. And you can leave the battery connected, but it's strongly advised that you remove it. And on your programmer, you want to just take off, well here, you don't have to, but I'm using a JTAG one previously, so I have to take it off. And you want to connect pin 1. The one that's pink is pin 1 right there, and on my programmer, let's see, where's pin 1? Pin 1 is this side, so what I want to do is match pin 1 as so, just like that, and close it. I'm using a Touch Bar MacBook Pro, so I have to use a USB-C adapter as well. Once that's connected, what you want to do is, we know the pink pin is pin 1, and if you look at the BIOS chip on the 15-inch, it's right there, and you see that minor little dot that indicates it's pin 1. So what we want to do is, you want to hook the adapter right onto the BIOS chip, just like so. It's kind of hard to do with one hand, and that's on there. And from there, I'll be showing you how to do it in macOS, and I'll be linking all the files required in the description. So now that we're in macOS, what we're doing is I accidentally put the chip name there. Just copying FLASHROM command prompts, and we're calling it dump1. And we know that's the chip name that I've highlighted right there. And now I'm just putting it in terminal. When it's done reading, it's going to save to your home drive in your user folder. So I just edited it out, made it a little bit faster. It's done flashing. I did this 3 times essentially, And what I'm using is I'm using the MD5 command to see the hash code for the 3 files I've read. And let's wait for the final one. As you see, all 3 match. We know that the data is good and there's no errors in reading it, so we can go ahead and proceed. Now what we're going to do is go into my home drive. There's 2 versions of the EFI tool. One is for getting the actual driver, which you guys won't be needing to have to do. I'll be linking it in the description. But if you want to go ahead and watch, this is how you do it. You get the BIOS file, and you want to just type in 51116915 in the GUID ID. That's where the NVMe is in the BIOS region. And I'm just going to extract it now. By the way, for the Air, you use the Air one. Any Air doesn't really matter because the NVMe drivers are the same. And for the Pro, you want to use the Pro one. Pretty self-explanatory. So now that we got the actual NVMe driver, I'm going to open the older version of the EFI tool so I can replace. I don't know why, but in the newer one, you can't replace it. So now we load up our BIOS file, go in that region. I don't know what I'm doing here. I kind of made a mistake. Now what we're going to do is we're going to replace as is with the file we extracted. So we're going to go back into where we had the driver. We're going to select the Pro one, just like so, replace, and now we're going to save our BIOS file. I don't know what that is, so just move it to the side, and we're going to click Save Image File, and just any name you want it to be. I put it as modded A1398. Notice how it's a ROM file, not a bin file this time. You want to leave it as ROM, don't change it to bin. And now we're going to go back in terminal and flash it. I will be leaving, this is the original article as you see. I'll also have it linked in the description. And now we just want to select this command. After we've copied and pasted that, just put in the name that you chose. In my case, it was modded A1398.rom. And just specify the chip name as well. Sometimes you have to, sometimes you don't. But in my case, as you saw when we were reading it previously, it gave multiple variants that it detected. So now I fast forwarded it. Now that it's done flashing, it's verified as you see. And we're going to go onto the actual computer again now. Now that we're done flashing our BIOS in the Mac, what we want to do is disconnect this. And don't connect the SSD yet. What we want to do is reset the PRAM. Never turn it on straight away once you've modded the BIOS. You always want to reset the PRAM. So I'm going to put down the camera and do that. You want to do it 3 times at least. So we're done doing that, and the computer's still on. Let's turn it off. So we're going to connect our SSD now. Just a second. So now that we have the SSD, this is the Aftermarket Intel 660p, I think. That's what it is. By the way, this is an amazing SSD if any of you want to ever mod your computer. Better than stock performance. Of course, the Samsung 970 EVO Pro is better, but for the price this is, it's an amazing drive. Highly recommend it. And let's fire it up now. Let's hold Option. And we're just booting up now. Let's click about this Mac and see if it actually worked. As you see, it's solid state PCI Express drive now, and it's treating it as internal compared to before. Now you won't have any hibernating issues for the most part, or actually completely. There won't be any issues at all, and you'll get very, very good performance. Also, just to show you that it has NVMe capabilities now, if we click Overview, System Report, and if we go right here, it's reading as NVMe now, which, as you know, this model doesn't have, but it is. And it is the late 2013 right there, see?